Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's day is going well and you're excited for the weekend. I definitely am. So I'm in the middle, or I've just finished doing most of the new members' Cronometer and doing their numbers and setting up stuff. And there's always a lot of questions about Cronometer and tracking, so I want to go through a bit of it now. I'm not delusional to the fact that a lot of people don't like tracking. I know it is a pain, and I know people are reluctant to add something else onto their day, like, oh, there's something else I have to do. And the app as well, when you first get introduced to Cronometer, it doesn't come across so user friendly. Because it is a bit more sophisticated. It gives a lot more details and accuracy than like MyFitnessPal would. But once you do get the hang of it, I definitely would say it is quite user friendly because it does recognize like the regular foods that you choose and your favorites and stuff like that. So it definitely, practice makes perfect when it comes to Cronometer. That's why before every new round of the Master's Guide, and sometimes just with clients, I'll say, hey, can you download this and just play around with it? And that's what I said to you guys in a few weeks ago. I said, just play around with it, just get used to it. I know not everyone did it, so those people can be feeling a little bit flustered right now, but that's okay. It really is just a matter of wash, rinse, repeat, and you'll get used to it, and it will recognize foods for sure. So a couple of things with tracking. Again, I know people don't like to track. Some people love to track, and dare I say, the most successful people in the world track. And they do, and we do. I would consider myself somewhat successful, but I track everything from my sleep, to my supplements, to my menstrual cycle, to my recovery, to my heart rate, to obviously my food. Like, I track a lot of stuff. And there is a lot to be said for tracking. As annoying and time consuming as it can be, tracking, wherever you're tracking, if it's on a piece of paper, if it's in a notebook, maybe it's just in Notepad on your phone. Some people sent me like their notepads in email, or if it's in some sort of an app like MyFitnessPal or Cronometer, or there's a couple of other ones. It doesn't matter. It's going to be an eye-opening experience regardless for everyone, not just most people. It's eye-opening for everyone. You're either not eating enough, you're eating too much, your fat is too high, your protein is too low. Like, there's always an eye-opening experience to tracking. When it comes to people tracking on paper or a notepad or whatever, as your health teacher, in my head, because I've been doing this for so long, I know the amounts to expect, especially when I do look. It's not just like the average amounts for people in general. I'll think of you specifically. Okay, her before pictures, how did her body look? What's her height? What's her current weight? And then I'm looking at, okay, so you've sent me a notepad and you have all your foods on it. In my head, I have an average idea of which food in which amounts will have how many calories, how many grams of this, that, and the other. And then I'm also looking for fairy dust. Are you getting enough nutrition there? Like, if I look at lunch as well and I only see half a cup of carbs, I'm like, that's not enough carbs. She needs more carbs. The same goes for the Tuesday thread that we do. Like, those pictures are so helpful. If I see it and I'm happy with it, I won't say anything. I'll click love or whatever. Or sometimes I might say, oh, that looks delicious. And then other times I'll say, Can you add more dark chocolate? Can you add more protein? Could we maybe double up this portion or something? So pictures are very helpful. That thread is really great. It's great for me because it puts everyone's kind of nutrition in one spot, because it's very time consuming to go through Messenger through all the different things. So that's why I love the form, because I can get you all in one spot and it's easy for me to just scroll down through the thread, like easier. Not easy, like there's still a lot of work, but it's easier. And then so I can see your portion sizes and your fairy dust and your nutrition, but you then also learn if I comment, and you also get ideas off the other girls. And I'll sometimes highlight and I'll say, and that's why you're so successful, to say Carla or Samantha or Mandy or someone. And then you can see, well, if she's successful, maybe I'm going to try some of her meals or recipes. So tracking is good in that way. Like, it's not good, it's awesome in that way. So you got the awareness, you get the ideas. It's really, really a learning curve. And another thing to be said about tracking, you don't have to track forever. Some people love to track. I do it. A couple of people in the group do it. Not everyone. It's usually a small percentage, and that's for multiple reasons. People don't like it. It's a pain in the ass. Their lives are too busy. They've already too many things to think of. Like, there's a few reasons. And then there's a percentage of us that love to track, and we find it's very useful and it yields results. So when something yields results and you feel it's sustainable, if you like something, it's going to be sustainable. So you've got that aspect. Those of us that continue to track everything, we feel it's sustainable because we like it and we see the results. So some of us will do it forever, and some people won't. They'll only do it for a couple of weeks, and some people only a week. For some people, tracking, if I ask them to track maybe older members, it's because I want them to get a reset, or I feel like they've got a bit deterred on their portion sizes. They've kind of lost their way. So in that way, I'll ask them to track for a week as an eye-opener. But other people, they'll only track for a few weeks, and that's enough to give them that visual aid or that kind of mind download where they know now, they've a better idea of how a meal should look, especially in regards to sizes. Like, oh, I shouldn't have been having one chicken breast. I know now that 1.5 chicken breasts is good for me for lunch. Or I know a half a cup of sweet potato is good for me, but I should also add in an apple. Like, to meet, I don't want to say targets, but in a sense they are targets, but to meet what your body and your metabolism and your hormones need. So some people will just do it for a couple of weeks, and then they'll visually know, this is a good portion of yogurt mix for me. It keeps me satisfied. It keeps me running the way I should. It tastes good, blah, blah, blah. And then we have the aspect of tracking in an app. And I'm going to use Cronometer because that's what most people are using nowadays. And that, of course, is my favorite, not just because it's made by an Irish guy. I just really like Cronometer. The numbers are vetted, so they're trustworthy. It gives me the access, which is awesome. My FitnessPal never did that. And then it does give me the variables of minerals and micronutrients if I want to look there. So I like Cronometer because it gives us so much feedback and so much detail. But one of the first things that people will recognize when I set their macros, so your macronutrients being your protein, your fat, and carbs. And I set these, by the way, based on someone's age, their height, also what I've seen of their pictures, what I understand of their lifestyle, their job, and then their goal weight. So that's how I pick like calories and macros. I will never include any exercise or thermogenic effective foods, so I never include them. They're a bonus. When you burn calories through exercise or the thermogenic effective food, that's a bonus. They really, I want you to think of exercise and the thermogenic effective food They boost your metabolism. They're beneficial to your metabolism. I don't want you to think of them in regards to calorie expenditure, or I burned 200 calories from my workout, I'm going to eat that 200. No, like they exercise and the thermogenic effect of food boost your metabolism. Full stop, the end, leave it at that. So I'll never include exercise or the TRF, thermic effective food, well, TEF, there's a few different terms of it, so I'll never include them. When I look at carbs as well, I'll always include total carbs. Total carbs, that's your sugar and your fiber. Total carbs, for a couple of reasons. Different people will break down fiber differently. Different people will break down sugar differently. Different people will absorb more calories and sugars from one food than the person next to them. So to play it safe, I'm just including total carbs all the time. And there's really no harm in that, because the fiber regardless goes towards metabolism and gut health and feeding your microbiome. So always total carbs there. And then when, like I said, when people do start using an app like this, I find the biggest wake-up call is the fat. Like, that's eye-opening. Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm eating too much fat. And that's great. Like, I usually laugh at people, because in the beginning I did want you eating this way. And I said in the beginning, don't worry about portion sizes or calories or anything. We will get to that. And now we are getting to that. This is like halfway through week 3, and we're refining things now. So you got a good kind of base now. And now we're just going to tighten things up to find that balance that's for you. And just because I'm tightening macros and stuff now doesn't mean we found the balance for you at all. We've still got a lot of work to do, because I don't know how your body's going to react to changing macros. We have to just wait and see. This is, again, why I make it a lifetime membership, because I'm constantly going to be here to help you kind of recognize and refine things and tweak things. Because even if we got that perfect balance, eventually it's going to change as your life and your hormones and your body shape changes and sleep patterns. Eventually we have to relook at it. I told a few of you earlier that I've set your macros now, but I am going to have to relook at them again in a couple of weeks, for different reasons, not just because you're going to lose weight or whatever, because there's different reasons why you have to relook at stuff. So fat is usually the biggest kind of wake-up call, and then bringing up protein is the other one. I can't tell you what to do here and now to change that. That has to be done on an individual basis. So that's where I'll be conversing with people as they go along. And some people will be fine. They'll just tweak it themselves and they'll find their sweet spot, and that's fine. Some people will need a little bit of help, and that's what I'm here for. So usually the fat, wake-up call there, and then protein. Most people struggle with protein, and believe it or not, I struggle with protein sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm just sick of food and I don't want to eat at all. So I try to give you tips as much as I can. And I do say try hit your targets or stay below them. So the targets I'll have set. So in your app, in the Cronometer app at the top, you're probably not going to be able to see this because of the sun. Oh, you can. Oh, you can. Good. I keep my screen on dark on everything. Facebook, everything is on dark. So we have today here. This is the first screen. When you open the app, this is what you'll see. I want you to ignore this screen. And you're going to just slide across on the top. You're going to slide across. So this is the second kind of dot. You've got 4 little dots there. This is the second screen. This is the screen you're going to focus on. You can see this is me so far today. I've only had 1 meal today, in case you're saying, oh, that's pretty late. It's been a very busy week. Okay, so on this screen you see your energy at the top, so that's your calories. And then you got your protein, and then you got your carbs, and then you've got your fat. Fat is pretty easy to overeat, like it really is. And this is why this tool is great for awareness. Like even having like the K-Pasta chips, you'd be like, well, there's no fat in these, they're just corn chips. They actually do have fat in them, but I'm not worried about that because that's what we call macronutrient crossovers, so don't worry about that. The fat I don't want you adding in at lunch is like the extra fats, like the extra cheese and avocado and creams and stuff. So this is where you're going to focus. This is your focus. Don't worry about anything else. You focus on these. You're going to hit these targets or stay below them. You can, of course, scroll across to see like default micronutrient targets. Well, you've got iron and vitamin C and stuff. Out of curiosity, if you want, you can scroll across. Sometimes I like to like go and look in at the minerals and see how's my minerals doing today. Minerals are essential for recovery, so I pay a lot of attention for minerals. And then I might look at metabolism support. What am I a bit low on today? My iron is good, my magnesium is good, manganese is good. My B vitamins are down because I only had a little bit of bison for lunch, but I'll bring that up with dinner, so I'm not worried about the B vitamins at all. Magnesium is great, manganese is great. My manganese and my iron are great today because of a supplement I'm taking, which is Shanka Piedra. But anyway, so adding foods is the problem. This is where people get confused. So I did say at the start, Cronometer will remember favorites and common foods you use. And if I could share the screen, I would, but you can't, because if I logged into the professional platform or dashboard that I have, it looks completely different to this. So I could share that screen, but it would be pointless because it looks completely different. Oh, hi, Jeanette. Lorianne, I didn't know anyone was watching. I thought everyone was in work. Dara, okay, I'm going to just go into a bit more detail on this and then we'll wrap it up. So I hope you find this video helpful. I actually thought I was just talking to myself there, but clearly there's people watching. So when you're adding foods, you're going to I will press this plus sign or addition sign as you'll call it. And then you have the option to add food. So sometimes I have like the bag or the box or whatever it is in front of me, and I'll just click scan barcode, and most of the time it's there. But if it's not there, you can add it yourself, and it's really, really easy. Like if it's a package, so you scan the barcode. If it's not there, then you can manually enter stuff. Usually the easiest way, if I know something's definitely not there, like chances of them having this is slim. Let's say it was an Irish food, even though it's made by an Irish creator, they don't have a lot of Irish stuff in it. So I'll click on foods there, and then you have the option to create foods. So I can add in the label there, and then that will populate the food for me in the list. So when I go back to like add a food, I can search geez, I can't even think of anything in my head. Let's just say hobnobs, which are biscuits. I know you know what hobnobs are, and that will pop up for me. Sometimes as well, if you scan a barcode and the barcode doesn't come up, it'll say do you want to create? So then you can take a picture of the front of the package and the back of the package, and then it'll scan like the nutrition label and it'll automatically fill all the details, and then you just save it and it'll say, do you want to be emailed to notify you this is being added? And then you say no, because then they keep emailing you all the time. Also with add foods, you can import recipes. It will pick up some recipes easy, or you can also create your own recipe or add in, like create a little option there, my recipes. And then there's an option for my foods, which I don't really use that too much actually. what I use is I'll add the food. So here you go. I clicked add food and zoom a little bit in there, and you see all. So those are the common foods I kind of have on a day-to-day basis, and they're there all. So I just have to click like apple cider vinegar, ATP labs, just click it so you can see how it can become quite fast and not time consuming. And whenever I do, if there's a food that I'm initially adding, so for you, you're going to be adding a lot of new foods and you're going to be like, well, I'm going to be eating this a lot. So then you click on the star at the top. So right now I've unclicked it, but I know I have ATP labs a lot. So I click on this star and it'll add it to my favorites. And if I started, say, a new supplement tomorrow and I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to be taking this supplement for the next 30 or 60 days, just to make it easy on myself, I'm going to add it to my favorites. So I click on the star there. So then here, beside all, not only will it come up in the all, but it'll come up in the favorites. So then if I can't see it in my list of favorites, because you know sometimes our eyes play tricks with us, I can type it in the search bar. With the all one though as well, I'll just say the all one is usually reflective of the foods you have most common in a 24 hours. So the favorites won't necessarily be in the all. That'll just be like what I've mostly consumed for the last 2 or 3 days. There'll be that list, and if I'm having the same thing on the 4th day, then it's easy. I just click, 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 and it's all there. So it does get like really fast. You just have to get used to it. Hi, Catherine. And then there's another option, which I don't use too much, but it's an option. There's common there, stuff I use commonly. Apple cider vinegar, green tea. I don't know why I put pears in there. I've only had like 1 pear in the last, I don't know, few months. Sweet potato. And then supplements. There's a supplement options. I don't really use that tab a lot either. I kind of just switch between the all and the favorites. Because once you're doing this so long, and even with refeed day, you just kind of rotate around the same foods. You know what you enjoy, you know what's easy, you know what's nutritious, and you know what makes you feel good. And the same thing is for refeed day. Like, I have Thai Express a lot. It's not like super fancy, but I love it, and it's mostly gluten-free. And I've said before, I'm not 100% gluten-free, but I do feel good on gluten-free. But I don't feel crappy after eating it. Like, you get to know what you like and what you enjoy, and really enjoyment is a key word there, because you have to enjoy this journey. So the same with like your non-refeed days. You'll get to know, you will, trust me when I say this, even though I'm about to hit you with a new module, you will get to know what works for you and what you like, and it does become very easy. Of course, I'm going to say to people, like, tracking is going to be beneficial for you, but like I said at the start, like, I know people have busy lives, they've kids, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't want to be throwing another thing on your plate that's going to make you overwhelmed. But again, like, you pay me to get you where you want to be as well. So there is that. I will say, as weird as this is going to sound, I'll fill in Cronometer as soon as I can, or not as soon as I can, whenever I get a chance is when I fill in Cronometer. I kind of have my little routines. I know Carla and Annie and a few others, they'll fill in Cronometer days in advance, and that helps keep them on track, but then it's also already filled in for them. And that takes a different type of person. I'm not that type of person, but it works for them. For me, sometimes I'll fill in Cronometer when I have a minute, which is usually sitting on the toilet. I'll be like, oh, I have to fill in my Cronometer as I'm sitting on the toilet. As that may be too much information, but probably not. I also will fill in Cronometer just sitting in the car if I'm waiting at the traffic lights or to pick up my kid from school. And then sometimes, very often, like in my routine, when I come in from the gym, I take colostrum, and I have a 20-minute window there before I can have anything else, and I'll just sit down and kind of get my breath back and I'll fill in Cronometer there. But that's just me. That's how I go. And sometimes I'm like totally running behind, and as dinner's cooking, I'm stressing to put everything in. I'm not an exemption, but you will find your way. It really is a useful tool. So does anyone have any questions? I feel like I've covered the base of Cronometer. Does anyone have any questions about using it? It can be frustrating because it's new. That's all it is. But it is a very good app, and it's so great that it's free for you. Not free for me, but it's free for you, and I can still access your stuff as I need to. Like, I can go in there now as long as I have access to your account, which I have nearly everyone's. I can go in and change stuff or tweak stuff. It really is helpful for people. And again, you won't have to do it forever. Some of us, Catherine, I've mentioned you a few times already. I feel like you might do it forever like me. I feel like you're that type of person. And some people won't. They're too busy, or they just don't like it. Some people just don't like tracking. It's too much hassle or whatever. Or they feel like it's an extra chore as well. Like, I thought this lifestyle was going to be easy. So that just makes it even more challenging, which I don't want, because when something's hard, it's not sustainable. If something's not sustainable, you're not going to stick with it or get results. So I'm conscious of everything, but right now, with discussing this and tweaking numbers, it's to drive home awareness. Right now, I just want to open your eyes, even if it's only for a few days, to maybe portions, or you're not eating enough, like I said, or your fat's too high, or we need to work on protein, or maybe we need to, one of you said the keto pancakes in the morning were too high in fat, so maybe we need to give you some other options as well. And there's something else to consider. I'm just going to throw this out there, but I don't want you to kind of dwell on it too much. There's also the consideration of average calories across the week as well. So should one day be extra high because maybe you had a stressful day or you weren't prepared, the next day could be low, and then if the average over the whole week of calories is low, that then potentially will still yield in results. And I say potentially though, because different people are different, and different foods are different as well. Like, a burger that you make at home is very, very different to a burger that you get in a restaurant. A burger at home might just work wonders for you, but a burger that you got in a restaurant, like without the bun, let's say it was just a lettuce burger, that can be very inflammatory. So there's a lot to consider. Thank you, Dara. You're a data nerd. Yeah, so I think with a little bit of practice, wash, rinse, repeat, Catherine, this is going to be a great tool for you. And again, just to give people a little bit of a different insight, Catherine, you won't mind, I gave Catherine some extra calories each day because I want to increase her metabolism. So I've given her a small amount of extra calories each day to bring her metabolism up, but not too many, because I want to keep her in a range. And we have an emphasis this week that Catherine has a really decent refeed day as well. So there's a lot to learn for sure. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay focused, and I will be in touch soon. Bye-bye.